Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, the place we discuss all things usmnt y la selección mexicana. My name is Adrian. Joining me once again is my co-host Tocayo, Adrian. Adrian, what's good, man?
Hey, how's it going, man? Over here reporting from the Sounders territory, over here in Seattle visiting my sister. But yeah, disappointed. Disappointed.
Disappointed in those league games, Leagues Cup matches.
Yeah, uh-huh.
We'll get into it. I think I share in some of your disappointment and we'll give our reactions. This is our reaction video to the Leagues Cup semifinal matches between Nashville and Monterrey and Intermiami and Philly Union. After these results, Inter Miami has advanced to the final. They will be playing Nashville on all MLS final. In order to get to this part of the tournament, Nashville had to beat Monterrey in semifinals. Ended up beating Minnesota 5-0 in the round of in the quarterfinals. In the round of 16, they ended up beating America. It was that one match where America thought they had won and they called back the penalty, ended up tying 2-2 and then won on penalties. Inter de Miami, to get to where they are in the round of 16, they beat Dallas after going 4-4 and winning on penalties. They then beat Charlotte 4-0 and now beat Philly 4-1. So they have been scoring 4 goals for the past 3 games. Let's start with that match, man. Inter Miami Philly Union. Obviously, the match took place in Philly, and another, as I mentioned, four goal rout by Miami here against a team that has had or has been one of the best defense of the last 5 years in MLS, and definitely one of the best, if not the best defense in MLS this season. Where do you think it went wrong for Philly?
Man, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know if it's Philly doing something wrong. For sure, Blake had a very poor night tonight. I mean, honestly, he wasn't maybe not necessarily top of his game for this match. A couple of mistakes on the first and second goal from him. Normally, you don't see Andrew Blake making those mistakes, as he's probably the best keeper on MLS. But maybe he was just nervous playing against the GOAT, man. I don't really know. But to me, it just seems that this Inter de Miami team, it just feels that they have been playing for the last 6 months together. You know, they're meshing up so well. I was a non-believer on the Messi effect, but now that I've seen it full-fledged, it seems that it's starting to trickle down to the rest of his teammates. All of a sudden, you see nothing but Xavi faces and Iniesta faces all over the team. So I wouldn't say that Philly did something wrong. I think they just got overwhelmed by Messi and jordialba.
Yeah, by the moment, maybe showed too much respect to Messi, too much respect to
Yeah.
Busquets, and when you start a match like that, you're already like down if you're down mentally, right? No, definitely, I agree. I share the same sentiment. You mentioned that they look like a cohesive team, Miami. Like they've been playing for so long. I mean, this is only his 6th game with Inter Miami.
Yeah.
It's Jordi Alba's 5th or 4th. And they make their players, the other Inter Miami players, look like you said, prime Barcelona players. Like Robert Bobby Taylor is looking amazing out there. The other Leo Campana, Yedlin has seen a rise in his game. And obviously
Jose
the goalkeeper,
Martinez.
Jose Martinez, Calendar. Yeah, I mean, if you look at their squad, they didn't have a crappy squad. They just, there was, I guess, no cohesiveness, no belief. I don't know. And now that they have these new 3 players, they just completely been rejuvenized and just demolishing teams. Yeah, I mean, interesting to see that. And now they have booked their ticket to the CONCACAF Champions League for next season. So we'll be seeing Messi possibly playing in estadios in Mexico and Central America.
Isn't that crazy though? I never thought I'll see Messi playing in Liga MX or somewhere in Costa Rica or El
Yeah,
Salvador.
right,
Uh, if it wasn't for like an international match with
right.
Argentina, but as a club player, this is gonna be quite interesting, and I'm pretty sure that's why. Uh, Putting my tin hat over here, that's why pretty much Leagues Cup feels that it's Messi sided, because I'm pretty sure CONCACAF was trying to get Messi into, or I guess lay out, do most of the legwork, or I guess lay out the land so he can just safely stroll and find himself in the in the semifinals, fighting for a spot to join the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, I'm sure it's a regional thing where they were like they all work together to bring Messi here and maybe share in that wealth, right? I mean, have Messi play in Concachafa will obviously elevate the
Yeah,
league
yeah,
and generate a lot more money than when they play that tournament. Even in Mexico, where the fans are so passionate and fill the stadiums, the tournament for the matches for those games, if it's not in the knockout stages or like semifinal final, they're pretty empty, the stadiums. Same with the MLS stadiums, Central American stadiums, until it gets to the semifinals or finals when you really begin to see a lot more people taking seriously. But I think with the Messi effect, every game he participates in is going to be sellout. So yeah, I mean, Messi and Inter de Miami is going to be playing in the final against Nashville, the other leg of this two doubleheader that we watched tonight. Obviously, late goal there for Nashville to win it 2-0. Monterrey looked like a shadow of themselves. I think they've made it this far because they have a lot of talent. They're obviously one of the biggest teams in Mexico, one of the most talented teams in Mexico, one of the most expensive lineups in Mexico. But I think if you look at them from game day one to now, you could see that progressive decline, right? And I think it has to do. We were talking about before we recorded. There's a lot of factors. One of which is it's a month-long tournament. They've been a month away from their home stadium. They're from their home city, traveling thousands of miles from here to there, all over the country, even into Canada. Um, and man, I just think it caught up to them. Their players looked exhausted. Sergio Canales, their new hotshot signing, who has had good performances in other games in the League's Cup, didn't do anything today. We saw that Rogelio Funes Mori shot that well placed, but it gave Peter Cech 2.0 the chance to save it there because it was very slow shot there at the end to tie it. Um, how did you see this Monterrey squad this match, man?
no, I totally agree with you, man. I think that's a very fair and accurate assessment of what happened to Monterrey. I'm not sure if they are the team from, I guess, the team at Leagues Cup that traveled the most. They were literally, from coast to coast, going back and forth. After playing in, the Seattle and Portland area, they flew to Houston, and then after that, um, they had to go to somewhere else on the east, sorry, on the west coast in Los
Los
Angeles,
Angeles,
and then
yeah.
come back to Tennessee. Yeah, so it was just exactly. I mean, I know that a lot of people say, well, that's their job. Soccer players, that's their job. What are they complaining about? They're probably traveling on first class, and they stay at the best hotels and whatnot. But just to give you an example, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was, I don't know if it was on the LAFC match or one on the Portland area, where the Leagues Cup arranges all of the flight fares and
Mm-hmm.
the lodging for all
Mm-hmm.
teams, right? So what the hotel that Leagues Cup assigned to Monterrey for one of these matches didn't have a conference room big enough so they could have like a match day or
Right.
pre-match activation. So they had to go and find a hotel right next door across the street to see if they had the conference room available.
Yeah.
And so that, exactly, that just adds to the complication of logistics, right? And then on top
Yeah.
of that, you have key players coming off the team because, or getting removed from the team because they got injured, like El Búfalo Aguirre and
Mm-hmm.
Germán Berterame, who are two of the key strikers from Monterrey.
Yeah.
So I think this is just a, you know, uh, uh, this is where all of these things caught up to Monterrey. This was the big desenlace of all these things just piling up and trickling down to the entire team. I mean, the fact that you have a youngster replacing Rogelio Funes Mori,
Yeah.
that should say a lot, right?
Yeah.
This is not
Hmm.
an excuse for Monterrey in any way, but I think it's just we have to acknowledge the fact that Liga MX teams were given a handicap on this
Yeah,
tournament.
they were definitely at a disadvantage in the long run there during the tournament. Not to take anything away from Nashville, they played their game they were supposed to. They were very surprisingly very very solid in the back. Um,
Yeah, super
every
smart.
yeah, between everything starting with their keeper to their back four. I didn't see them step a wrong foot all game. Zimmerman was massive. He had a great game. Shaq Moore had a great game down that right flank. All in all, they had a very solid performance. They knew what they were going to do. They gave possession to Monterrey. Monterrey had 63% possession compared to 37 for Nashville. Almost double the passes for Monterrey, 513 versus 308 for Nashville. But and even shots. I mean, Monterrey had 21 shots to Nashville's 13, but if you compare shots on target, Nashville had 7, Monterrey's 3. I mean, that just goes to show you how not
Yeah,
clinical Monterrey was, how off their game they were. And again, they lost 2 massive forwards, right? And 2 of their starting 11. And had Sergio Canales and Funes Mori and maybe even hell, I'd go on to say 7 or 8 of the starting 11 players were lackluster to say the least. And again, just a lot of factors at play at this point, right? I mean, we went through them. But yeah, I mean, ultimately Nashville winning 2-0, man. I mean, do you think the 2 best teams of the tournament advanced to the final?
I mean, I guess so. That's the I guess this is the, I don't know if it's statistically speaking, but bracket wise, the best ones advanced, right? At least the ones that were the best out of the 90 minutes and PKs on different matches. But I don't really think these are the 2 best lineups that could have potentially clashed on the final. Definitely, I think, in my opinion, it would have been more attractive to see Monterrey against Inter de Miami or any other Liga MX, big Liga MX team, America, Tigres, Chivas, hell, even Cruz Azul against Inter de Miami instead of Nashville, uh,
Just
just
for
because of
marketing
the added
wise.
factor of and that other factor of the U.S. against Mexico in a way, right?
Yeah.
Even though Inter de Miami has maybe 1 or 2 American
Just
players,
calendar.
Yedlin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
um, yeah. But no, man, it kind of sucks because we were tough on MLS and defense and their defenders and goalkeepers, and of course that one match where they have to play it all. They have an outstanding defensive performance, and then their keeper just decided to become Peter Sech for a night, right?
Yeah, it was
So
insane. Yeah. I mean, good on Nashville, man. No, I agree. It's probably not the marketing final that MLS, Liga MX, concacaf wanted. If it had been Liga MX versus MLS team, I think it would have been better. Or a big team from MLS, right? Inter de Miami versus LAFC would have probably been a big one as
yeah,
well.
definitely.
But
I agree.
from a footballing perspective, I think shouldn't be a bad match. I mean, if Zimmerman and Co. in the back are able to have a good defensive masterclass, I think it'd be a good chess match there, trying to see how Messi unlocks that defense. But I mean, we say that, but we saw what they did to Philly, and the Philly apparently had one of the best defenses in MLS. So we'll see what happens. They are going to be
Yes.
playing in Nashville though, so I mean I don't know how that will matter if that will, but if Monterrey had won, it would have been at Inter Miami in Fort Lauderdale. So the next match is going to be on Saturday, the final in Nashville. You got any score predictions for us?
I mean, I seriously think there's no MLS team or MLS side that can actually
Yeah.
stop or topple Inter de Miami. I find it really hard for Nashville to do something about it. I really think that this is just Messi's. I think it's Messi's to take, right? If Messi decides to have a bad night on Saturday, Inter Miami is going to lose. If he decides to have an outstanding night like he has had on the last 6 matches with 9 goals on those 6 matches, I think Nashville is no competition for Messi and company. That's my opinion. I mean, look, they've been scoring 4 goals almost every single match, right? So why not? Why not another
Why not in the
four,
final?
4-1, 4-2 match? Yeah, exactly.
You know what I just noticed? So the final, it's late evening Saturday. If we couldn't say anything, I mean, we've enjoyed the League's Cup, but there's some things that we definitely hate about it, don't like about it. Injuries, the really unnecessary time of this tournament, and just the bad reffing have all really left a sour taste in the mouth. I don't see why there's going to be a third place match from Philadelphia Monterrey. Monterrey's already on like
I know.
their last legs. They're like on cripples, like on they don't want to play that crap. I mean, why are they playing that match? I have no idea.
If that feels me too, man, I think it's an obsolete, it's an obsolete take on, I guess, FIFA and those FIFA approved tournaments where they think they can make a little more money on that third place match, but no one cares about that match.
No
I
one's
mean,
going to go to the
Monterrey's already
match.
qualified to, yeah, exactly. Monterrey's already qualified to concacaf for this year, and I think the next one. So they're probably going to play all subs, dude. They're not going to play the starters. Um, and I guess Philly Union wants to qualify. It's also qualified for the next Champions League. So
Right.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it'll be
You know,
interesting to see the turnout for that on Saturday in Philly for our third place match. Um, well, Adrian, we'll definitely be watching that final on Saturday. So hopefully it's a good match, as entertaining at least as these matches have been for the League's Cup. It's been another good one with you, brother. As we wrap up here, man, where can our listeners find us, dude?
they can always find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast on. Last but not least, you can also find us on Instagram, at Twitter, at Puro Pinche Gol. We post stuff every now and then.
Yep, and make sure to leave a comment below. Let us know that you expect Inter Miami versus Nashville. I know we sure didn't expect Nashville to be in there, but hey, man, they played a good tournament so far, and they played a good semifinal, so props to them. Let us know what your score predictions are for the final. You think Messi's going to go on and score another goal here in the 7th consecutive match? Won't put it past him. I mean, that's if I were a betting man, which I am, I'd put that he would score. But don't take any betting advice here.
Yeah.
But yeah, because
Disclaimer.
yeah, disclaimer, yeah, don't please, for the love of God. But okay, yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. Let us know in the comments for sure. Who do you got for that match? We're excited to read y'all's comments. Yeah, man. See you in the next one, brother.
Always a pleasure, dude. Take it easy.
Likewise, man. See ya.